Okay, just so you know, guys, I'm still ill. I've been ill for about a week now. Welcome back, everyone, to Create Dinosaurs, where last episode we went and built this thing, this wonderful little Spinosaurus train, and all of you guys in the comments have been telling me it doesn't look that bad, it actually looks quite good. Don't lie to me, this thing looks terrible. But we're not going to be fixing that today, because I want to work on the train station instead, and also a little bit of the rail network today, which is going to be fun, because it means that we actually get to plan out a bit more of the infrastructure of our park and everything. So yeah, we'll get to work on that in a second. However, first of all, I just need to go and remove all of these rails that we've got here. Because yeah, we put all of this here last time to test if the train actually worked, except now it's just sort of in the way. Sorry, my wonderful train tracks. You were very nice, but you're no longer needed. And honestly, our farm is so good to the point where I don't even think I'm going to bother picking those up. I'm just going to let it despawn. But anyway, so with that done, I want to get to work on this train station. And I've done a lot of thinking about this train station and what it's going to look like. And the conclusion that I've come to is we've got a lot of sort of old style buildings here. Or not necessarily old, but at least like trying to fit in with a dinosaur aesthetic. Like we've got a lot of stone, we have a lot of wood, a lot of our details include skeletons, and it all looks great. However, I am thinking I would actually like to maybe try a bit more of a modern aesthetic for this. Or kind of modern mixed with the sort of like dinosaur style that we've got here. I don't know what to call it because it is just stone and wood at the end of the day. But like it feels very dinosaur-y, doesn't it? And I think instead of this being an enclosed building where like you go inside, you get a ticket and you get on the train, I more want this to be a bit like a canopy going over the top. And maybe we can put some cool decorations on top or something. That feels like it could be a nice thing that we can then replicate around the park to represent different stations. But I mean, as always with my ideas in this world, they are just kind of freestyled, so there's a good chance that all of these ideas are going to change by the end of the episode. But for now, what I quickly need to do is first of all find out why there's a bunch of dirt here. Why is there a bunch of dirt here actually? Oh wait, this is me marking out the distance that the train carriages are going to cover. But what I want to do right now, I want to basically clear out the back edge of this because of course our passengers are only ever boarding the train from this side, which means we don't ever need to do a station on this side of the build, which I quite like. I don't want to do multiple stations. But essentially what I need to do right now is just kind of dig away this back wall because we're not going to leave it as the stone and dirt that makes up the main hill here. In fact, I really should just be terraforming this entire cliff at this point. Like this whole cliff and tunnel through the mountain has been here for so long and like it should have been done by now. I just can't bring myself to work on it. So for yet another episode, we're just going to ignore it. But I would like to replace this with sort of the materials which we're going to use for not only this train station, but also like the supports for the track the entire way around the park. Because yeah, unfortunately, we can't just put this train on the ground everywhere because as you can see, it's about to leave over water. So I do actually need to think about what the support beams and the entire structure for it is going to look like. But for now, let's just dig this out. And there we go. So I'm only going to dig it out by one block, just because I don't think we really need that much space to work with. Like, on that side, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a mostly flat wall. I might do a little bit of detailing with some stuff, but I don't think I need to dig out any more than that right now. And yeah, so we're on to actually designing the build for this now, and I will admit, I was just going to go with this same sort of color palette that we've always got, and especially with the walls down here for the Spinosaurus. Like, I was just gonna go with stone bricks, andesite, and andesite bricks. However, I am just thinking, could a tough block accent go quite nicely with this? So, not as the main block palette, but just as, like, a nice little sort of darker color to act as a bit of a support on it. A bit similar to what we've got over there with the aviary, if you can just about see that. So, I mean, let's see. Have I got a decent supply of Tuff in any of my chests? I've got 32 on me. I've got a bunch of these slabs, which, you know what? Maybe I can work, but I would like to get some stuff. Actually, I can use the Tuff that I've got for that then. And let's see. So I think polished cut Tuff stairs could be quite nice. And bearing in mind that our railway has to turn at some point, I feel like it's going to start turning here, which means that the Tuff would start here. Let's see. How does that look? I quite like the look of that, actually. It does feel very sort of train station-like. Maybe it's reminding me of the London Underground or something. I feel like that's the vibe it's giving me. And then I think we are actually going to go with some sort of color palette a bit closer to this on top. I just want that Tuff outline at the bottom. And in fact, I'm wondering, I might bring that up a block. Yeah, it feels one block too low right now. So I'm gonna see, do I have more Tuff spare? I do. Okay, right. I should have enough for this. Yeah, that feels better. Just that little bit higher up. And then, yeah, as I've said, so we're gonna use a color palette similar to this. But then, of course, I want to bring it over with a canopy. And that canopy is going to cover the top of the train as well. It's not just gonna be over the passengers. But what that means is I do need to decide on a height that this is going to be at, because remember, the whole thing with these trains and the stations is every train can work at every station. So what that means is if I build a canopy over this train station, I need to be sure that it's gonna fit every train in future, which actually might be a good thing that we decided to start with the Spinosaurus then, because I think this is probably going to be our tallest train. I mean, even if we do a sauropod train or something, that's just probably going to make it longer. I don't think anything is going to go above the spines on top of this one. So, I mean, looking at it, how high up would this need to go? So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks up? Yeah, so we're probably going to go 6 just to give it a little space. But then, yeah, it can sort of just curve over the top of this, and it should be fine. So, right, with that worked out and confirmed, I think as for the canopy and where it's going to come over the passengers, it's a little bit of a question of where does the queue start and everything, because of course people are going to need to line up to get on this train, and the canopy needs to cover a decent bit of all of it, so like there has to be enough room for however many guests are going to be at the park. And there's also the fact that because this turn takes such a long time, we've got this massive gap here where passengers might still be standing, so it means, do we want to drag the canopy over to cover all the way up to here? I feel like we're going to need to. So just making an assumption, our guest queue is probably going to take up like at least this much space going all the way down there. And I mean, you can do little sort of entrances onto the carriages themselves and stuff. But then how much room is this going to take up? Bearing in mind, we're probably going to do it with fence gates. So I think we only need a 1 block gap here just because the fence gates are probably going to make it feel almost 2 blocks wide. And then, yeah, do we just make the queue snake back and forth around here? Probably, yeah. Oh, and of course, we actually need a way off of here for our guests as well. So actually, maybe we need to make it so that the train sort of like stops here. The guests get off of the train, and then the easiest way for them to go is going to be over this way. So actually, yeah, we should probably just allocate this space to people leaving. So actually, yeah, our queue is more going to snake back and forth over here, I think. And then considering the fact that we might add like 1 extra block for a pillar or something, I'm gonna say maybe actually, no, let's not add that extra block. So I think our canopy is going to come out to here. And that is how many blocks? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13 blocks out. Okay, so this is gonna definitely be quite a lot of resources, because I mean, this is about 30 blocks long now at this point. But at the same time, it's not the worst, and hopefully there's some stuff that we can make look good with this. Also, there's the final consideration of the fact that we don't actually want the guests getting in the way of whoever's going to be driving the train, who is probably going to be boarding right here. So we should probably just section off that whole bit as well. So yeah, we'll be working with this sort of shape, which is maybe a bit weird, but honestly, like, it's not the worst. At the end of the day, it's just a whole boarding area and a bunch of line lines going back and forth. And right, since this uses a fairly similar color palette to everything that we've already done, I'm just gonna go and build all of that, and I'll probably come back when there's the canopy over the top. Just because the canopy's gonna be a little more fun because it's gonna be a weird shape. So yeah, I'll see you all when this is done. So here we go. We have the basic parts of the station now laid out. And I'm telling you now, half of this is not correct. Like, these pillars are too tall, these ones are too short, and they are all missing a significant amount of detail on them that would make them look good. But the reason why I have stopped here is because basically most of the details at this point onwards are based around where this, like, sort of arching over canopy is going. Which means, of course, I need to actually build the canopy to then know how the rest of this is going to look. And for this canopy, I will admit, I am thinking cordiates wood. Same thing we always use. It's in this build, it's in that build, it's in that one over there. Actually, no, it's not in that one over there. Never mind. But it's a wood type that is almost identical. I'm just thinking cordiates wood. It might be the one to go with here. And as for the canopy itself, I am probably going to go with something like this. This is what we've got over the Mosasaurus viewing stands and stuff, and I absolutely love the design of this. I was really proud when I built it. But one of the things which I'm going to copy with this, and it's also something that I have done several times now here, is this whole canopy and cover here is uneven. If you actually look at it, it goes up further than it ends up going down on the other side. And it's a really subtle thing, like you barely notice it. Honestly, standing down here, like it might as well go down the exact same amount. But it's just that slight difference that makes me really like it. And the other place that I've done it is on the Spinosaurus viewing area. So if you actually go and look at this one, as you can see, it's lower down on this side than it is over here. I really like this kind of whole uneven sort of thing, and I'm thinking we should sort of do something like that over here as well, where basically it's higher up over here and it reaches its peak somewhere around like the top of the train, and then from there it will come down and end up much lower down over here, probably to around this sort of height. Will that actually look good? I don't know. I'm just thinking it might look quite nice and I want to try it. And yeah, this doesn't mean that like we're changing the gradient. It's not like it's going to be one block across for one block up over here and then it's like 2 blocks across for 1 block down over here or something. That should be inverted. That would result the other way around. No, it means keeping the same gradient but just kind of putting the peak over here so this side always ends up lower. That's what I've done over here. We don't change how quickly the gradient is going up or down. We just change the distance from the center. But anyway, in short, I'm saying that's what we need to work on right now. And I think since I got confused between the cordiates and the spruce, what I might try and do is actually mix them, because you can actually see the 2 colors there. That's spruce and that's cordiates below. And they are very similar colors to the point where, like, I do think that they could work quite well together here. But just as a little experimental thing, what I am thinking is basically we should have the cordiates wood on the 2 ends. So like over here and over here. However, the higher up it goes, the more we actually use the spruce wood. Again, I'm not sure how that will actually look. That might end up in it looking terrible, but I want to see. Dude, why did you spawn like that? What are you doing? Oh, that poor guy. I got a crocodile scute from him though? Oh my god. And an emu egg. Why the hell are you carrying around an emu egg? Little weird, not gonna lie. But right, okay, so let's make a start on this. So we're only going to put a little bit of spruce wood on this first layer. And I think similar to that gradient, it's going to be 2 blocks across for half a block up. And now I can go and do the top slabs for this. And we're going to slowly increase the amount of spruce wood that we're using in this. And yeah, I think this is going to be our peak here. So literally only a half slab higher than like the start of the canopy on this side. But of course, by the time we get down to that edge over there, it is going to be fairly low down. And that's the look that I'm trying to go for. And I think the easiest way to work it out from here on is going to be to work out where it's going to end up and then just build upwards from there. And that would result in that height there. Now, what do I think of that? I quite like that. Maybe I could try moving it up a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I might actually go a little bit higher. So, like, our peak's actually going to be around here and then it comes down. Yep, okay, we're making a change. Okay, and with a slight shuffle around, yeah, that's looking better. So, right, let's finish off this route. Okay, that took longer than expected, but yeah, I'm liking it. Yeah, you know what? I think once I bring these pillars up, because yeah, these are supposed to go higher up, by the way. I think once I've brought them up, this is going to look quite nice. And then, of course, we also need to light it up, but that's a whole other issue. What the heck, guys? So yeah, let's just go and bring these down. We'll manually texture these because they're only small. Okay, and then I think the next details which I want to add... Oh, I forgot to move this chest. Sorry, there's this chest here which has got all of our wood in it from like however many builds we've done. And I just completely forgot that really this should have been moved. There we go. That can all just go in there. So yeah, the next detail which I want to add, I just want to round off these bits a little bit by putting some stairs here. But also, the lighting is an interesting situation because I would like to use lanterns, but of course there's nothing really to hang the lanterns off of that seems significant. So I think the next best solution might actually be to basically like put some fences coming off of these and then put some torches on top. And I think that could look quite nice. I'm right, you guys need to go. And I think there's a lot of dark oak used in the build, so I'm gonna see if I can use some spruce instead here. And let's see, so, I mean, I can't put a torch on that block, so I think the next best height is genuinely just going to be here. But then, can I reach on top of that? There we go. And now, I need to repeat this for all of these pillars, but I think on this side, the torch is going to go higher. Ow, okay, yep, this is a good example of why it needs to be lit up. And yeah, I think on this side, we're gonna do the same sort of thing. So just like 2 blocks down and we'll put it there. Actually, let's lower it by 1 more. And for this, I'm actually gonna need some temporary scaffolding. And this is gonna be a bit interesting because we're standing on top of the train now, which isn't actually real. As you can see, I can't break any of this at all because it's technically an entity with Create Mod, which means that jumping around or moving on it is a little bit strange. Oh, yeah, that's weird. I don't like that. So let's just put those 2 torches and get off. I don't want to stand on that. Okay, and then, yeah, the final thing is we just need to go around and put some stairs on top of all of these. And with that, I think our train station is done. And I'm gonna be honest, I really like the design of it. Like, it's simple, I will admit. It is not the most complex build by a long shot. But I do really like it. I think there's some sort of charm about how simplistic it really is. And guys, I'll be honest with you. I know I said I was gonna do the track, like going out this way and stuff. I'm gonna leave that for next episode, so it will get done soon. However, not only has this design taken a lot longer than I actually thought it was going to, especially for something so simple, but also I've been commentating over it all, and I have a feeling this video is getting quite long. And also, most importantly, I would actually like to dedicate a bit more time to it than I thought. Like, I sort of thought I knew what it was going to look like, and I was like, yep, this is gonna be what it's going to be, and I can build it really quickly in the video. But actually, like, after doing this, I'm a little unsure. I don't actually know what I want it to look like anymore. So I think I'm going to put the project on hold for a week, which I do apologize for. I don't like splitting projects up. But next episode, I think we're going to actually make a start on what our train system is going to look like outside of the stations and stuff, which I'm excited for. I also have absolutely no idea what it's going to look like, really, because it's a train track. Like, yeah, I can't even just copy the monorail from Jurassic World, because it's literally a different form of transport. So if you're you're excited for that, then stick around. And again, I apologize for splitting down the project, but hopefully you have enjoyed building this one. I really like this one. It's a nice, simple idea. But like, if you showed it to me, I'd go, that's a train station. Really? If you showed it to me, I would be like, this is a train station. It is very obviously a train station. But it means that that's now the first one done in our park. And it means that we've got like a base design to sort of go off of for the rest of them. So with that, thank you for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed, and I will see you all next time where we're going to expand this thing much further. And somehow we're going to have to get a train track through a Spinosaurus enclosure.